Hi, this is Byrne for Georgian Crossroads, and we're going to let my friend Vladimir Lozinski take us around Tbilisi. He starts off with a nice little drone shot of the Mother of Georgia statue, looking over on a fine, pollution-free day over old Tbilisi. This is a street that is normally hopping with outdoor restaurants and lots of tourist life, particularly in the summer. We're just going to kind of wander around with Vlad and just kind of get a feel for normal life during this pandemic. See people walking around on quiet streets. This was all during the height of the lockdown, in which no private vehicles were allowed to be driven. So Vlad just kind of wandered around, got images, and it's just impressions of the city. This will be one of the lighter ones I do about the pandemic. I just wanted to show the normal stuff. Glovo, there's Glovo and Wolt, and there are these two companies that do delivery. They have been extremely busy delivering things to people. So if you want something from McDonald's, you call Wolt, and they will go to one of the few McDonald's that are open. Yeah, you're going to notice dogs in this video. Vlad has a thing about them. And most dogs in Tbilisi are not kept by people. They're just kept on the streets. They have little marks in their ears, tags in their ears, which tell you they've been treated and they've been spayed. They don't have rabies. But they're all over.
Catch it. It's not going to chase you.
And then this guy on a motorcycle hit him with some kind of taser or something. Looking for food under a truck, and that's sand in front of it from some kind of work project. A very quiet Liberty Square. Quiet except for these motorcycles and scooters and such. And some bicycles. You normally don't see bicycles in Tbilisi because the traffic is so bad. But for some reason the motorcycles slipped through the no private vehicles prohibition. This is under one of the passageways. And Vlad is just showing us the emptiness. These machines that are there. And like this is one of those coin machines you put in and it pushes the money out to you. Anyway, and they're just dead, just sitting there, just as these tour organizations are. There's a company that runs the old Tbilisi tours. They have double-decker buses. None of those around. Just very quiet times. Woman dragging a big heavy bag around. I do that myself. I get my backpack or day pack and I go load up and go walk 35 minutes to the Carrefour or 30 minutes or more to a Goodwill store, which is really a supermarket. Vlad just can't resist the dogs. And the dogs do get fed on the streets. It's interesting. Cats and dogs here in Georgia are treated very, very differently than in America.
Hello, cat. Don't be shy. Hey, what's up?
And here's a woman selling homemade sauces. Looks like tamale sauce, and just sitting there waiting for people, but it's kind of dead streets. If she makes a few lari that day, she'll be lucky. And this is just stuff she's made at home. And of course, there's outdoor fruit vendors. And people, if you'll notice the way they're standing, you'll see this a lot more. This is the Georgians' version of social distancing. Now here, this woman doesn't really care, because what's more important is talking to the person. And now we're doing a little scene here where we have people standing around in the street waiting to get into a Nikora store, which is basically a deli. They have meats. Nikora also makes smoked meats and prepared meats and such. But the way that people are standing to me is fascinating, because Georgians don't do lines. Not if they don't have to. So they're just kind of standing around, a bit like a De Chirico painting, although a little more crowded than one. Just waiting, and I guess everybody has to kind of go when you know it's your turn to go in. Guy's helping that guy get in there.
Yeah. People buying? Yeah. Oh, good. I'm an atheist, sorry.
A guy was selling something for Easter, and Vlad generously told him he was an atheist and didn't need what he was selling. Another delivery scooter. This is Liberty Square. This is this Pushkin Square part of it. Another dog for Vlad. The dog lovers are getting something out of this. She's selling homemade cheese and homemade yogurt in that bottle there. And this is a bakery where they make one thing, and that's puri, which is a flatbread, which is slapped against the inside of the oven here and then pulled out. I guess you get very good at not dropping them into the fire. There's I believe it's a wood fire in there. This is right next to where Vlad lives in Sololaki. This is also a vegetable store near where Vlad lives, obviously. He's met this guy many times.
Помидори, грузински помидори. Давай мені 3 або 4 грузински помидори. 3-4 штук. Все.
Man, he speaks to him in Russian because Vlad knows Russian, unlike me. And so most of the older folks in Georgian will know Russian. So if you know Russian, you can get by here. It gets a little thinner the younger they get, but many of the younger folks still know some Russian. And the nice thing about these street stores is they're getting, for the most part, they're getting Georgian products. And these products, sometimes the apples or the peaches won't look perfect, but that's how you know they haven't been treated to death. They're organic by default. Now, this is kind of an interesting scene Vlad has come across. The police are standing here. I think they're monitoring the people going into the Nikora so that the people don't stand on the street, but they're standing on the street. And then they see Vlad.
It's okay, I'm taking a shot of the shop. It's okay.
And, yeah. This is empty streets near the Kashueti Church. And here's the Kashueti Church. Old woman trying to get alms before you go into the church. And even in the church, there are these little spots where people can stand 2 meters apart from each other. Because the Orthodox stand. And finally, we'll leave Vlad in the park behind the church on a nice warm day before we had a month of rain. And Vlad's found an old radio station that has a lot of old 78 RPM records. One last dog for you there. Thanks, Vlad. And then we'll just take off and float above the city again. lilac tree. I believe that's lilac. And there we are, back in Solowaki. Now these last couple of images are taken by my other friend DV. This is the day before they're about to open up about to remove the private car prohibition. So it's still very empty. This is the next morning. And suddenly everybody's back out on the street. And it's been more and more crowded ever since, even though there are no buses, no metro yet. So in a way, people have to use the cars. But people were kind of like, okay, we've done it. And we'll leave it there.